We are back. This is technically number 4. I haven't uploaded the third one yet
Oh,
because I've been lazy.
I
But
was gonna say I missed out on the third one.
actually, this might be number 5.
5.
I lost track.
All right.
Anyway, little bit different setup we have here. Decided to put some blankets around the room, sort of, soundproof it, redneck style, poor man style. I think it's helped a little bit.
I feel like we're in the back of a U-Haul right now.
Yes.
You were reading my mind, right?
We actually are. Why'd you have to tell them? We're
Well,
being
they have
dragged
video
out by the
evidence.
cartel. Yeah. Man, this
But-
looks like something that you would see out of WikiLeaks or something. You know, like cartel's just gonna walk in. 3 white dudes.
Well, hopefully the cartel
full
doesn't walk
black room.
in on this podcast.
WikiLeaks.
Yeah. I'm gonna be leaking after this.
Free Julian Assange.
No, Julian Assange is actually albino.
So,
So anyway, you heard it here first, folks. Julian Assange is allegedly albino. All right, so I have some new people on the couch. On your left is my buddy Brock. He was here for the second one.
yes, second video.
Yep.
And
And,
then-
you didn't see his face, but now you're seeing it in
Yeah.
person. To the left of him, your right, is my friend Cameron. This is his first appearance on the
The
podcast.
camera's upside down, so we're just gonna go from there.
Oh, that'd be really goofy. But all right, if I do a promo or for the channel.
Yeah, could you move the mic a little bit more in between you guys?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm
Okay.
not really hearing him as much.
So this is the situation that we're in, but Skin Chimp is the other channel. If you'd like to go check that out, I also have podcasts over there, and also to subscribers coming over here. How you doing?
And how do you spell skint chimp?
Oh yeah, well, SKINTCHIMP. That does my channel. I have gaming videos, gun videos. Well, mostly informational and car videos also. So if you like that stuff, check it out. But it's basically Christian podcast channel. It's
Awesome.
turned into.
Awesome.
I have a
Very cool.
MySpace channel as well. It's on
And he's-
YouTube. It's called Best Band You Never Heard. The U is just one of the U's. It's just the letter. And it's schizophrenic bile. And if you watch it, I'm sorry.
And his is Joe Smith. And if you somehow found this channel and you don't know what the channel name is, you might be skitzing out a little bit, on some stuff.
I'll send a link to his channel and your guys' channel.
Yeah, and I linked yours with the one channel I did. So, or
Hats off to you,
Podcast.
sir.
Features a video
Thank
of John
Yeah.
McCain sleeping.
we gotta support each other in these rough times.
RUFF. It's gone to the dogs.
Is there a way you can tilt this down without me breaking it?
You know, I'm not sure.
Oh, I think.
This is what they call in the biz not prepared.
Oh, it flexes. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's,
Yeah, that microphone stand flexes.
okay.
Careful.
Yeah.
I don't think we should tell everyone that we're actually in Kansas City.
Well, too late.
This is a whole different way of
Kansas
rubbing
City,
elbows.
Alaska.
Ellis Asket. Let's say hypothetically, 51st state, what do you want it to be?
Puerto Rico,
That says, I don't like that answer.
Philippines.
I'm-
51st state,
I'm thinking like Middle Dakota.
Middle Dakota.
Like that fucking strip in the middle of it.
Oh, I was thinking actual U.S. territories that we own that we don't want to change up the flag, but yeah, we technically already have like 54 states. They can legally vote. I think it's Puerto Rico that voted. Well, the air base there, or something like that. Same as in the Philippines. So, yeah, it's just offend people if they were to put up 54
We own
stars.
Mexico, right?
We used to.
Because
Well,
I would vote for them to be a state.
Or maybe they used to own part of our shit.
it's just North American Union at that point.
What
you
was
know?
that? What was that thing with Hillary and CIA and guns, Fast and Furious? Wasn't that like something to do with Mexico and us running guns from there?
I
We
just,
basically own Mexico.
Well, yeah.
In a
It's
way.
all a puppet. Yeah, basically puppet. That's what the Philippines and all
Fast
that
and
stuff.
Furious 10.
Oh, when did that come out? Or it
I
hasn't
don't
came out
know.
yet? Okay.
It will eventually.
Yeah. Do you think it's overdone? Like, you
I
get
think
10...
a lot of things are overdone. I think this is overdone. Podcasting is kind of overdone.
Yeah, we're kinda
You know, I
late
could have at
into
least
it.
thought of like maybe going out on the street to do it, but no, I kind of just like, hey,
You
2
eventually
mics
can.
and some people in my basement. Like
Sounds
that's
like-
never been done before.
Sounds like work to go contact people on the street.
Well, even that's been done.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, there's some flavorful motherfuckers around here that we should talk to, you know?
We should. You know, I was thinking
Yeah.
about getting like just random people on, like a garbage truck driver, police officer, a homeless guy,
that's the
Surrogate
thing
moms.
that's very unique.
a cashier at Big Lots. No, like just
Because I would love
totally do the opposite of what big podcasts are doing, where they're getting like NASA scientists.
famous people. Yeah, get the average Joes, you know?
That'd
They're
be
the
kinda
one people that can
interesting.
be really influential, you
I
know?
want to get Craigslist actors.
Or Craigslist killers.
What's the difference? They're killing it on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go out, they, you know.
Yeah, different personalities and all that stuff. I mean, even 3 of us here all have very different personalities.
Very
but
different. Very
we're,
different.
we're all connected.
I saw
you know?
myself on camera for the last podcast.
Yeah.
And I did not think I looked like that. Like my whole perspective of myself has changed since watching that. It's kind of scary. Like I look a lot like my cousin. You know who?
You
Really?
know.
50-year-old
Voldemort?
50-year-old cousin.
Not in a good way.
No, I mean it's
I don't think you look.
Oh, Blue Jay?
Yeah.
yes.
I
Blue
think,
Jay.
speaking
My
of
cousin Blue Jay.
BJ?
BJ.
I think
We don't like to say that in front of.
that's actually a common issue today. Being comfortable with yourself. And I'm not saying it in a way that I should be comfortable with my weight because it's a health issue. But, you know, with you, I mean, you're physically fit. There's not really nothing wrong with
No,
you physically.
it wasn't like that. It
Yeah.
was just it totally caught me off guard, the perspective of seeing myself
Well, yeah.
from
yeah.
another perspective.
Are you confident in seeing yourself? Like, do you see yourself in a negative light or a positive? Because
I
could
would say
see a-
positive, but it
Oh,
just
that's
like
good.
caught me
Yeah.
off guard. That's all I was saying is just like completely like whoa, like
Yeah, especially when you hear your voice for the first time too.
yeah,
Your body just doesn't like that.
yeah.
It'd be weird if you did.
Although I'm getting more used to hearing my voice and editing it, and
It gets more natural. Yeah.
so anyway, I want to get to what you guys have been up to. My buddy Brock, like he touched on, started his own podcast. Will be starting.
It's actually got the first video up. And
Got the first video up.
Endorse your
Awesome.
channel. Yeah.
Skint Chimp, everybody, check it out. My buddy Cameron, what have you been up to nowadays, man?
I've been trying to wake up every day.
That's a good goal. I think we should all shoot for that goal.
I've been down at the railroad tracks. I've been screaming.
Screaming at birds.
You know, there's not a lot of birds down there. Let me tell you.
Which railroad tracks? The ones on Mechanic or
The one on the east side.
the east side?
Yeah,
Those are dangerous.
Was it by
tracks.
you know?
free will or was it against force?
there's no free will.
Okay.
You know, there's no free will in these environments.
You know what I
saying,
like?
what I'm saying?
That sounds very much like Calvinism right there.
Calvinism?
Yeah, predestination.
Shouts out to Calvin Swader. I see you, dog. I'm going to be out there in September, son. We're going to be going out to San Diego.
Yeah,
We'll be
talk
take-
about that. Touch a little bit on that.
I
Boys
haven't
going out
made
to
any
San
plans
Diego.
yet.
Oh,
I
don't
was
leave
getting
them
excited,
hanging.
bro. I was getting excited.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
That's like exciting content that I can't really
Uh,
skip over because there's not a lot of exciting content.
So you
Three
Did someone
dudes in a
just
basement.
slam your door up there?
That-
You didn't hear that?
No, that
Well,
was a cat. I locked him in the room.
Remember when I talked about the MS-13 coming in? There.
That wasn't the door. The dog
Oh.
would be going ape shit right now.
Yeah, that was pretty
Okay.
scary.
I didn't want to have to like bring this up 5 minutes into the podcast, but they have a warrant for my arrest. 51st state.
Middle Dakota.
Listen, I took a shit in a really inappropriate place in Guam.
Tractor Supply.
Can you fucking believe they have a Tractor Supply in Guam? Can you fucking believe that?
Actually, kind of.
That by proxy means it's a farmers only in Guam.
.com. Brought to you by FarmersOnly.com.
Someone's got to dig them military trenches.
What's going on with farm hose in Guam?
What is Guam? Is that a territory of ours?
What is Guam? It's not, it doesn't cost anything for us.
But I just awestruck by Batman over here. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
that's-
territory. It's out in the South
Evo.
Pacific.
Evo, yeah.
It looks like Guam, like Kwame. That was some crazy shit. I'm not a big fan of a lot of military people, or non-military people. But, Trump did some cool shit. I'm not going to lie. He pardoned Kwame. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Isn't he still alive?
Is he?
Kwame?
Or Trump.
Yeah. What year is it, bro?
Well,
Kwame's definitely alive.
man,
We should get him on the podcast, is all I'm saying.
He has been to Jackson, but not in a good capacity.
Not any positive capacity. He didn't
Talking
have a
about-
chauffeur. He was on a bus.
Patrick or
Yep.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he visited our institution. For those of you who don't know, the town we live in, Jackson, is nicknamed Prison City because we have like 3 prisons in
There's
the
not a
town.
lot of prospects.
And we can't keep them.
There's a lot of prospectors, but not a lot of prospects. You'll be driving along the road and see people mining for.
Oh, there's people who have
Gold.
gotten in trouble with miners here. That's for sure. But there's not a lot of gold here. There's a lot of fool's gold, a lot of fake shit.
A lot of weird people in this town. That could be something we could touch on briefly.
know-
Weird people we've met in this town. One that comes to mind is with you, old dude behind the fourth wall. You remember that bottle guy?
Oh yeah, no, he's I know his name. I don't want to shout him out because fuck that guy. But he was in a wheelchair. I want to punch a guy in a wheelchair. This seems really not good. Not a good thing. But listen, he threw like a shooter of whiskey in my face because I stood up next to him and he's an alcoholic. I mean, some of us are, sure.
So a dude in a wheelchair threw a bottle at you?
It was like a plastic shooter,
Okay.
but it got in my eyes. It didn't feel good. You have I don't even know what it was, like Captain Morgan just burning away in your eye sockets.
And what was it that you retorted back to him?
Oh, I said something about Forrest Gump, right? Lieutenant Dan. I said, ice cream. You want some ice cream?
And he got kind of upset over that.
He got a little, he got a little chafed in the britches for that. A little bit. He got
I
a little
met
upset.
something I wouldn't say was a crazy person, but he was homeless, and my dad was yelling at me, and I just saw a homeless man with crutches get up and almost want to whack my dad. So that was pretty interesting.
Why?
Oh, he was yelling at me, cussed me out, and I'm only 12 years old, and I just saw a man with crutches just get up and nearly whack him. And
Yeah,
that
that's
was pretty
intense.
cool. Yeah.
That's just the one thing I want to touch on with people around here is I don't understand why they make so much eye contact.
Yeah, that
It's
is
dominance. It's an alpha thing.
It might be, but
Yeah.
people, you have 12-year-olds and shit just staring you down.
that's a big thing in this town is stare downs.
The other thing, too, it also has to deal with not recognizing, like with young kids, they give you that. I'm not saying just with kids, but adults, too, because they're trying to figure you out. They're just like dumbfounded by whatever's going on through their brain, what they're trying to figure out, too.
I think a lot of it has to do with,
Snarky.
like he said earlier, just no prospects. Like, not a lot to hope for, nothing to really shoot for. So you just want to start drama with people. The only drama you have is fighting,
Yeah.
basically yelling at people. Like you want someone to start something. I think that's why people stare, because they want something to happen in their drama-less life.
Well, yeah, it's all dealing with the purpose in life. I touched on that, too. Yeah, if you don't have a purpose in life, what do? Anything that's entertaining.
Stare
sinful.
at people
Yeah.
until they want to fight you.
You buy
Yeah.
a timeshare. That's what you do.
Now, we were in a town up north called Mount Pleasant, and you did not see as
Was it
much of
pleasant?
that as here,
So it was,
It was pleasant,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
for the most part.
I'm
Except
sorry,
for
I
the
had to
casino. That's
bring
like
up the
another entity. But no, yeah, people don't really stare at you like they do here. I thought that was pretty cool. Refreshing.
Yeah, when I was in Chicago, I mean, I'm used to waving at people because that's what, you know, it's kind of. I wouldn't say I was totally in the country, but I mean that's just what people do. Neighbors, you know, just wave at everyone that goes by. Well, in Chicago, you wave at someone, I had a guy just look at me on the sidewalk like I was giving him the bird.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
Mike Tyson
like he was
pigeons.
offended because I don't know, like I was joking with him.
It's the West Side, son.
I look like you got cerebral palsy.
Shouts
Like,
out to
that's
Michael
like-
J. Fox.
Shout out
Not
to
to offend
Walt
cerebral
Jr.
palsy, but the gang signs,
You. I'm not
I
gonna do
probably
that.
offend
Uh-uh.
people. What? Yeah.
Nope.
Wow.
I'm just not gonna do it. It's not-
Self control.
Yep.
It's a
I'm
hard
just
thing to
gonna
come
cut-
by.
I'm gonna
Just
cut this part out.
cut it.
I'm
Well, yeah,
probably
he's
gonna
got
cut
editing.
50% of this stuff out.
We're back from
Okay.
commercial break. Thank you.
Well, that's great. Yeah, you know.
Thank you for our sponsors from Alro Steel. And you bastards, you laid me off, and now this is what I'm doing for a living. I'm just kidding. I don't get paid.
You heard it here first.
Guest. Work.
We have no sponsors.
What's it called when you adore someone and they don't approve of it?
Maybe NASA. That would be cool. NASA just
It'd be
sponsors
cool
us.
if you actually misspelled Apollo. That would actually be very offensive.
Apollo.
I thought it was. Yeah, I think is it 1L or is it 2?
I don't know, but we are definitely getting off track here.
Well, I have ADD.
Um,
Yeah,
A dead dog.
it's okay. We can
That's
edit
fucked up,
this.
man.
We can sound cool. You know.
Yeah, I've had a shovel in my hand all day, and I'm covered in dirt.
he is covered in dirt.
I had a.
Actually, my toes are filthy. It's pretty gnarly, man.
I've seen them. I clarified. Yeah. This is the man that I'm sitting next to right now. Elbows length away. So
Just a
speaking of
breath
dirty,
away.
not too many people get dirty anymore. It's mostly office jobs. You know,
That's not true.
it's becoming more.
I'm just gonna
Honestly.
like be contrarian and say things and not back it up. I think that's what I'm here for.
We need that. We need
Yeah,
the
we
opposite.
need the opposer. Yeah. So
What?
you're
Poser?
fact check me.
He said opposer.
Opposer.
I thought you said poser. Like you can't even fucking skate. Like you skate.
You
Goofy.
know-
I do skate Mongo, so I'm kind of a filthy rat.
This is the thing that I fear the most is when I have speech impediment and I actually will say something completely wrong and offend someone. It's like
This
That's
guy's
how
here
I-
to be a
that-
poser. That's a good way to offend
that's how
someone.
that's how I'm going
This
to
guy
go
can't
out
even
in life.
kickflip.
You're a poser. Like, yeah, oops, it's my time.
Here's our guest, the poser. He skates Mongo. He's actually a cop. He's working for the
What's wrong with
St.
skating-
Louis
What's wrong with skating Mongo?
East St. Louis Police Department. He's very busy. Shouts out to East St. Louis.
There he goes again. Now, here's the thing. Why is there never a north side, you know? Like, you always hear about
Well,
south
that's the
side,
thing,
west side, east side. You never hear about, what's up, north side?
No, that's the thing. All the white people live on the north side, and they got all their fingers and shit. It's not as fun.
When we went to Minnesota, I don't know how north you can get than
Like,
Minnesota. Like,
This
I
is
thought,
very fun to do. West side or M Town. Or
I like
you
doing
walking-
north side.
You walking
like-
Mr. Fingers along the way, along this pathway in life.
He's
What?
really
That's
just,
that's really a good question. Why aren't there hoods in the north side?
yeah.
I don't know.
There's a hood
I
on our
mean-
north side. Shahan.
But you never hear about them who say represent north side.
Actually, my buddy Mike and I were walking around here, and a dude was like, "I represent the north side." He said some words I can't repeat.
Oh, that's
Here's
cool.
the thing: like, it's not the north side; it's the north end. If it ends in the north, there you go. That's what east side, west side, north end, southwest. That's what Danny Brown said. And that's Detroit. That's not like a catalyst for every city.
How does Detroit have an east side? Isn't it just the river?
I mean, the east side is Canada.
Well,
and
there's
that's pretty-
people
that's
in
not
the
good
river,
at
so-
all.
But I've heard of East Detroit. But how do they have an east side if it's the river that's east of it?
It's because there's people flowing in the river.
I mean, everything.
That explains it.
There's an east side to every city. There's something east of everything. That's just how everything works, you know.
The East Side. It's actually
Like
that
the
little
east side of New York is
that
like
little town,
Italy.
that little city across the Ambassador Bridge. I'm sorry.
Windsor. Shout out to Windsor if you're listening.
Shouts out to Ontario.
I bet a lot of Ontarians are listening.
You know what? I really
Excellent.
I mess around with Canada. You know, poutine is just
That's amazing.
it's a principal food.
I didn't know it was from Canada.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
I had some good poutine.
Poontang?
That
Hell
just
yeah. I
no,
love,
not. I knew you were going there.
you know what? Anything. Poutine's delicious. You know, you put some fries in a bowl. You got some brown gravy. Some other shit. You know, it's all good.
What's that one thing that they came out? The everything.
They serve it at Wendy's up there. Like you just go to any fast food restaurant and they're like, yeah, we're better than you. I'm like, man, it's
Oh, the all dressed up too. All dressed up seasoning. Yeah.
all fucked up. You putting black pepper on everything.
So, what are some notable instances that come to mind interacting with people in this town? Like, we touched on wheelchair guy and homeless guy with crutches, but
Dave?
I want to kind of, get some stories flowing of like people we've interacted with in this town specifically, and we can move outward too, because I know you've traveled, I've traveled. People we've come in contact with.
That's the problem. I have social anxiety, so it's like the stories are pretty small. Yeah.
What about when you were in like high school? Any interesting people you meet?
You got one? I gotta think of one, but
In high school?
yeah.
Oh hell.
That's going back a ways, but
Yeah, I feel that's what makes me feel old is like college was 7 years ago for me. Like going to my first like parking lot rave set was 7 years ago.
parking lot rave set.
Yep.
Now, what is that?
It's exactly what it sounds like. Somebody set up in the middle of a apartment complex parking lot with a DJ booth, just doing like bullshit rave, like whatever was popular at the time, like Skrillex, whatever the fuck. But it was a beautiful thing until the cops came, you know.
And that was up at Central Michigan University.
CUM, Central University of Michigan.
Ah, okay. I
You
got it
come to
wrong.
be educated.
Right, I got it wrong. Okay.
I came, I saw.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Thinking about
Abso-
it, this is.
What?
It's kind of sad because
This podcast, yeah. I
no,
agree.
well,
We're gonna cut all this out.
yeah.
We're gonna cut 99% of it out.
We're just gonna just glitch the fuck out of
But in
everything.
high school, you have the cliques, the groups, but everyone's generically the same. You analyze it, and really, the boys are the boys, the girls are the girls. I mean, there's very small differences that make someone unique when it's high school. And the few people that are, they're the like coolest people in the world, but they all try to act the same, be the same. It's like just a farm. Really, just a jail cell. Everyone
Yeah.
acts the same, be the same. And if you're different, you're attacked for it. So
You're either attacked
yeah,
or you're just ignored
yeah.
completely.
I wish I was ignored.
Shouts
didn't.
out to my gym teacher. I don't know what his name was, but listen. I will never forget the sound of a dodgeball. Like listen to this. Like a real dodgeball.
Everybody can hear that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking ping.
Bong, bong. Yeah.
I think that's what's missing in today's day and age.
We played extreme team dodgeball. That was with basketballs, bowling balls,
Basketballs?
anything.
Bowling balls?
Anything you can. We didn't have bowling balls, but
That's
it
the
would've
other
been
thing.
cool. But if they had bowling balls, they would have picked them out because they grabbed the basketballs, they grabbed the soccer balls, they grabbed the footballs, and dome nuts anywhere. Like, dude, I was rolling on the ground, just trying to stay alive. I mean,
Jeez. That
yeah.
sounds like a
Extreme
nightmare.
team
catch
dodgeball.
this.
Oh no, there was no catch this. It's just instantly in your face, like as hard as you can whip it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Devo shit.
And it didn't matter if you participate or not. You're participating if you're in that Coliseum. It's either that or get expelled. It's like, well, why are you out? Why are you outside
Get
the gym
expelled.
class? I don't want to die. I mean, enough to break the
Just in the
windows.
fetal position out back.
I kind of was. Like, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I was protecting all necessities. So, high school is rough, man.
It is. It is. But you went to a bigger high school than I did. So I
Oh,
imagine it was probably a lot
That
rougher.
was East Jackson with 300 kids.
Right. Or the one
Psychotic.
after
Oh,
that.
you went to EJ? Oh God, I'm so sorry, bro.
Well, he went to EJ and another one, right?
Well, yeah, for 1 year, Columbia. Yeah.
Which
well,
is
then
bigger
options.
than EJ, isn't it?
Yeah, not by much, but yeah, it is. It's I think
They have
800 students.
An
So it's
NBA bracket
double,
type
a little over
thing.
double.
They have a bracket, and EJ is like, okay,
Now, when you go to Columbia,
who's gonna get pregnant first?
At East Jackson.
Oh, Kelly. Oh shit. There's $2,000 for me.
yeah, that's
oh,
the one
sorry,
thing. Seeing
It's going towards.
seeing kids drop out because of pregnancy.
Yeah, that's the whole bracket. It's like you pick five.
Well,
out
their
of
textbooks
three.
were 13 years old, so you know.
Wow. Thanks.
I was at a vinyl show the other day, a record store show, and digging through the crates, you know, as one does. Came across the back of a Ted Nugent record, and hilariously enough, it said, "I shit my pants to get out of military service," and I fully agree with it. I don't know if it was real.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Like, there's no way it wasn't real. Like,
I
this
don't think
dude's
you're
such a
telling the truth.
prick. He's such a prick that I know, like, the record store was within 40 miles of where this guy lives. Or lived, whatever. You know, if you're worth $100 million and you're a dickhead rock star, you're going to make an impression on people. And if people know some shit, they're definitely going to write some shit on the back of your vinyl sleeves, is all I'm saying. You know?
It's actually on Snopes.
Yeah.
Did Ted Nugent dodge the draft?
By duty his.
No,
panties.
they don't go. Oh, here we go. I never pooped my pants to get out of the draft, says Ted Nugent.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Imagine,
I did not shit my pants to get out of the draft.
imagine you.
It
being
was a little
famous,
drip. It was nothing more.
that you had to make a statement publicly. I did not poopy my pants.
I did not poop my pants in front of that woman to get out of the draft. It was a little drip, drip. That's okay. That's an orgasm. So
Yeah, this is quite a big article, so I'm not even going to read all of it, but
that's the other thing
Yeah,
about
'cause
that.
reading takes
That
too long.
long article. Somebody was paid to do that. Probably. This wasn't a passion project. Like, did
There's-
Ted Nugent shit his pants?
They're getting paid more than we are.
yeah,
now.
currently.
You know, Ted Nugent, call me. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you got the runs, I'll
Who-
make a run for you.
What other famous Michigan actors, actresses are in here that we
In
need to
Spirit?
mention?
In this room?
It's Spirit. No, that we need to mention. Tim Allen. I love your Toy Story.
Shouts out to Cocaine Man from Kalamazoo, Tim Allen. He got caught with a brick. He did his time. Rest in peace.
Shout out to Jeff Daniels.
Yep.
Shouts out to Jeff Daniels, man.
I'm sorry for honking the horn past your house. If it wasn't your house, I'm sorry for your next door neighbor.
We definitely, like,
I'm
there
pretty
was-
sure it was your house.
we peeled out on a Pacifica in front of one of his houses.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I definitely allegedly did that at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
on
he's-
January 3rd, 2016.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
He's probably the person that, talks about why
You
he
remember that
hates
to
Michigan.
the date. That's pretty impressive.
It was a good year. Like,
20,
those
that was
tires were fucked up.
2016?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was January 3rd. My
See-
ex's birthday.
Oh, okay. That's why it's memorable then.
No, it was memorable because we peeled out in front of, allegedly peeled out in front of Jeff Daniels' house in a shitty Pacific.
And somehow, if Flight's still going from Jackson, the major rock band,
Yeah, they're
probably freaking out right now. Major?
Flight's going to be playing on September 11th this year. 20th anniversary.
Maybe their
Oh,
40th
man.
because weren't they from the 80s?
Let's just call it 20. Let's just call it 20.
Yeah, flights from Jackson. They made it pretty far.
We're not getting any sponsors.
Flights from Jackson don't end well, okay?
FL by TE.
We know that from 20 years ago.
I was the only kid in 8th grade who wore
Hmm.
the T-shirts and never listened to one song, but I just loved the name.
Where'd you get the T-shirt?
My dad. He couldn't fit no more, and I took his place. I was probably the only Flight fan who never listened to a song, and probably the only fan to begin with.
That's
you know?
like every, hipster nowadays that wears a Slayer shirt.
Dude, it was awesome. It was a pure black shirt. Just had Flight and I think a Jet logo or something. I don't know. It was cool. Everybody asked me like, what the band was. I'm like, they're from Jackson. Never heard of them.
We're Flight 93.
Is this in? No, yeah. Well, yeah. The one at the Pentagon probably wasn't a plane, so you're probably good.
Now that is a whole different story.
That's a whole nother drone.
Yeah, allegedly.
No,
That's
no,
my new
no.
catchphrase in this
that's
whole podcast thing. It's been allegedly because a lot of stuff has been said.
no.
yeah.
I mean, when the only thing that's left is one jet engine, and just scraps. It's a little weird, you know.
Now, I heard a theory that it was like a kid's remote controlled plane.
Well, yeah, drone. Anything that's
It was
unmanned.
just like
Which
flying
kids?
some psycho kid in like
That kid's get.
Alabama.
I mean, they did get a capture of what the thing was, but it's
it's just
blurry.
like I wonder if this would work.
I mean,
So,
think about it now with
I think it did.
He's like, you know what? I don't like odd number side buildings. Fuck you, bitches. I'm gonna crash in your ass.
You know what's so
That
weird
wasn't his
that they legalized drones
Wait a
where
second.
you can just fly them around. Like you would
Yeah, I've
think
got
with
a
the,
drone.
that's kind of weird, don't you think? I mean, you could put a bomb on it, you can do anything with it. You know?
Okay, next question.
Here's the thing. My neighbor likes to nude sunbathe. I won't say which neighbor, but
Is it me?
I don't have neighbors.
I wouldn't
It's
ever
probably-
think I would like to hear a nude neighbor over
How did that come up with bombs on drones?
bombs on
No,
drones.
I'm getting to that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to
Okay.
do with bomb
But it was the drone
on
You were
drones.
flying
I'm not
your
going to be
Phantom?
dropping a explosive on
Diarrhea?
this person.
Okay.
I'm going to be dropping Polaroid pictures,
What? Okay.
like nice cities.
Oh, okay. I had a totally different understanding what
I'm
was
just
going.
kidding. I'm out on a maternity leave right now at the prison.
Isn't maternity something to do with pregnancy?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
8 months.
8 months. So
I'm about,
you're
I'm about to burst.
So if anyone wants to get him a baby gift,
I'm a
what they call
surrogate
it?
dad.
What do they
okay?
call it when
You
you're
know what?
when you're
Here's
preborn,
my thing. We
or
should
premature.
start
premature? So you're premature jail time, or you're. I'm trying to put this together.
We need surrogate dads.
You can't put it together.
I'll be a surrogate dad. If you just want a kid, I'm here for it.
You got excommunicated from the jailhouse. Let's just say-
Excommunicate?
Yes.
It's like you're not going to jail anymore.
Yeah,
we
no,
can't deal with you.
no.
That sounds wonderful.
You got kicked out for
That's
being just
natural-
so
that's-
terrible.
That's
Couldn't
just
take it.
natural law immunity. It's like, oh fuck, he fucked up again. He's not coming here.
That's what they did back in the day. They just send you off to an island somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, just we're
Isn't
not.
that what they did with
We're
Australia?
not going to keep you in jail. We're just going to send you off.
That's the thing
Like-
about Australia, right? Okay, here's the thing. In the United States, we have the southern states, which is our rednecks and our troglodytes, our our bohemians and our special characters. All of our semicolons and our
And Kyle, shout out.
shouts out to Mississippi. Thanks for everything, I guess. Here's the thing.
Blues.
Yes,
MISS
thanks for
IPPI.
like 5 people that made the blues, and slavery led to that. That's cool. That's like not even the point here. I don't know.
It's crazy. I just talked about slavery today.
So the United Kingdom, they were like, okay, let's not deal with these ratchet bitches. we're gonna send them to Australia. All of our prison people, all of our rednecks, like, nah, we're not dealing with this shit. Like, we have Ireland already, so we're gonna send all of y'all to Australia, and that's how Australia like became what it is today. Like, all the white people in Australia, like all that craziness, it's all the prisoners.
You know, we gotta be hip. We gotta support the IRA and the NRA. You know, that's what's going on. Freedom for Ireland.
The IWA.
Yeah. It's my native homeland or family. Yeah. Come from there.
I'm just saying, like, England was smart with that. They were like, okay, we're gonna send them to the other side of the equator. All of our yeehaw people, like, they're gonna go live with the spiders.
Well, yeah, all the
they
lesser.
weren't. I thought they were like criminals. They were just
They were.
yeehaw people.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not,
they were
not
criminals.
not every person in the South is a criminal.
Yeah,
Well,
but they're
Like you're saying they
We're
sent,
talking about in the
you're saying they
1700s.
sent their yeehaws to Australia,
yes.
but they were actually criminals who committed an offense against the state.
But that's
correct?
the thing. Like any redneck in England, they would get on the bad side of England right away.
It
That's
wasn't
the whole
just
point.
Regardless
England,
if they
it
did
was Spain,
something
it was
wrong or
France.
right.
They'd be like, "Oh, this is not how we do things here. You gotta go away, man." Yeah.
And
And it
they'd be
was-
like, "Where we going?"
Where we going, mate?
that-
you going to Australia?
That's the
I want to be riding spiders.
that's the ghetto accent of like England.
Hey, where we going, eh?
Where we going, you fucking cunts?
You gonna get the grass fitters going, eh? We're
Yes,
going.
now. Oh, man.
Actually, I don't know.
Well,
I might have
actually,
an
you're going
Englishman
to-
actually be watching. So
You
Brandon
might be going
Hogg.
to Australia.
yeah, so
It's going to be wonderful.
Shout
You're
out
going
to Brock's English friend watching.
yeah,
Possibly,
Brandon, if you're watching,
allegedly.
Shouts out to Melbourne. They've got Vegemite and shit. Like, come on. That's,
You know what's
that's some
funny?
redneck shit.
you
What?
name any English city, and he's probably only 15 miles away from it.
Wow.
Like, oh yeah, I'm about 15 miles away from Melbourne, and I'm like,
Melbourne.
you're 15 miles away from everything.
or does he say kilometers?
I'm trying to revolutionize
About
into
15
the
kilos.
imperial way.
15 clicks.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him away from the metric system, even though
just
it's
saying,
so much
like,
simpler.
England's lame as fuck, but they
I'm just kidding.
did super right by taking all their the yeehaw like hardcore people and putting them in Australia to breed into Australians.
We usually,
Because- beautiful thing because now we have Australians. Now we can go down there and see like
now
what-
have Australians.
oh yeah, I've been riding crocodiles and kangaroos and such, you know, right back in the outback.
You just lost all your Australian subscribers. You know, we're
No, they're gonna dig this because they're gonna be like, yeah, I was out there with the kangaroos today, mate. Yeah, I was out there with him. Yeah,
At the end of this, you will not have a single country that has not been offended.
Well,
We
oh,
hit
it's
them-
not an offensive thing.
probably.
Yeah.
I think Australia in the very same. This is what I'm getting at, right? Australia is very much like the conduit of
California.
like England to Australia is like the Yankees in this country to the southern states. Like they're proud of being crazy fucks. And like I applaud them for that. But England sent half of those fucks over to Australia. Half
Steve
a world away.
Irwin, man.
Like 5,000 miles away, at least. Yeah, look at Steve Irwin. God bless him. Fucking Saint Irwin. You know what I'm saying? But he was a crazy bastard.
I mean,
you know,
yeah,
he
it's
died
a-
at a ripe old crocodile hunter age, like 42.
42, yeah. Hunting crocodiles. Think of it. Like
Yeah.
Australia is also like Florida vibes, anyways.
Although I'm not
You'd
gonna
think
lie,
he would die by someone
he
poisonous.
really is an
and-
inspiring person, though. I
Yeah.
respect a crocodile hunter. I used to watch him as a kid with my dad, and that was like his favorite show. That and Cops.
and
yeah.
that went on for so
I
many
think that was
seasons.
Australians Cops was the crocodile hunter. Just
God
like
bless Steve Irwin.
some dude hunting crocodiles is about as exciting as like, you know, some meth head getting clopped over the head with a billy club
in Las
America.
Vegas. Yeah.
Basically, that was a good show though.
Who are
I
other
do love
influential
Steve
people
Irwin
that
so
just more notable in the 90s and 2000s were today? Who do we have?
Courtney Love.
Yeah.
Um,
So who was notable in '90s and is it
yeah,
now?
that's a
Kurt
thing that's
Cobain. Well, he's pretty
Who was notable in the 90s?
like
Bill Clinton.
influential.
alive, right?
nota-
Alive.
No, could be dead. Influential. That was to your childhood. That 90s and 2000s.
And
like,
that is not anymore.
Bill
or is.
Nye.
not anymore. Yeah.
Drake
Pee Wee
Bell.
Herman.
Oh man,
Sorry.
I'm not okay. Yeah, Drake and Josh, that was a great show.
Although that
Brendan
was
Fraser. Shouts out to
2000s.
Brendan Fraser. Every
He-
fucking day.
Yeah, dude.
Shouts out to Brendan
He's
Fraser.
probably
Who was
watching.
I was,
Actually,
dude. You know, hit me up, man. Let's kick it. Let's go get fucking dinner.
he probably lives in
Um,
Michigan
Got
Center
it? I hope so. That would be a dream come
on
true.
Fifth Street.
I mean, look at Bill Nye. He was so
Part of the Fifth
influential.
Street scooter gang mob.
He might be.
He's the leader.
I mean, you remember Bill Nye?
He's
all
been
the
sending them
TV.
money.
And look what he went to the 23 genders.
Did he go
and
to
so-
prison?
Huh?
Bill? Nye?
You're thinking about R. Kelly.
I get him mixed up.
How do you?
Bill Nye was peeing on people.
And R. Kelly was explaining astrophysics to
Hey,
minors.
kids.
Right.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
He went from influential to just straight off wacko land to completely go against his own knowledge of science. Complete change.
Huh?
Oh, from Bill Nye going from there's only 2 genders to now there's 23
There's no genders.
He says that? There's 23. He said that?
or more. It could be more. Yeah,
Hmm.
it could be 83.
Genders
It could
don't
be 100.
exist.
Yeah,
Social contracts.
but yeah, in his old videos, 2 genders, and they took it off Netflix.
They did?
Yeah.
They took his old show off Netflix.
Yeah, the Bill Nye, the 2 genders. Yeah, chromosomes or
Just
not
that
chromosomes,
episode?
but the X and the Y. Yeah,
Those
at
are
least
sex
that's what was
chromosomes.
known when on social media. And
Those are sex chromosomes. They're not gender chromosomes.
sex chromosomes, yes.
There's no such thing as gender.
The X and
because
Y
it is a
chromosome,
social
yeah.
construct. It's made up.
Gender's made up, you're saying?
Oh
I
man,
don't
that's
think
a
I
that's
agree
a
with that.
that's a
It's completely made up, and that's why it can be whatever the fuck people want it to be, because it's a social construct. That's the entire point.
What do you mean by it's a social construct?
Because people made it up.
Well, I didn't make up that I have a pee-pee,
That's sex.
which is... Okay, so what's the difference from sex and gender?
Sex is kind of a hard line, even though there's such a thing as sexual dimorphism. But gender is like
Here we go with the words that I don't know.
Like gender is more of a. It's weird to me because it's this thing based off of sex, but has nothing to do with sex.
well, yeah.
It's how you perceive yourself, essentially, based off of a sex concept. I mean, I'm not the like
Are you a cis male?
cis.
Yeah, have you heard of that? Are you a cis male?
See, that's also like I believe it's Greek or Latin. I guess.
Hmm.
I'm white, you know.
That's basically like you're just a single white straight male. Well, not single, but straight white male.
So
To-
the
to be-
simplicity of it was
Cisgender is you're identifying with your assigned gender, essentially. That's all that
okay.
means. That
what
is-
makes you a male.
which
is
there's
the-
nothing wrong with that either. Like if that's how you feel, that's how you fucking feel, you know.
Well, I'm confused then. So sex is different from gender.
Well, they're saying right here that sex is a part of the gender, either of 2 sexes, but it's mainly down to the chromosomes, the X chromosome, the Y chromosome.
You can have
We talked about this a little bit at church that when God considers himself to be a male, masculinity, it doesn't come down to the penis or the vagina. It comes down to more deeply than the X and Y chromosome, which I thought that was pretty interesting because these are physical things, physical
Right.
traits. Yeah. Where God is invisible.
So a gender is different from a sex then?
Well, based on the definition, gender is either of 2 sexes, especially when considered with the reference to social and cultural differences. This is biological. We're going by the biological one.
What website are you on?
This is just dictionary, Oxford Dictionary.
Oxford
the
Dictionary.
thing with biology too is there's such a thing as intersex.
And what is intersex?
Neither male nor female. You know,
And they
Like asexual?
it's
that's
not
from-
asexual because asexual is
that's where they have a
not
mixture of
feeling-
X and Y chromosome, or
um.
and that's a genetic.
I can't
Um,
remember the fly species, but I went over this in genetics. Like, there's such a thing as it's sexual dimorphism, right? It's
Well, yeah, there's things in nature that are not it's called a genetic deformity.
It's not
What's-
necessarily a deformity. It's a genetic and chemical change. It's almost like having green eyes. It's like blue or brown eyes. Like there's such a thing as like an intermediary. It's chemical changes.
Yeah, where I see that is a part of the fall, that everything was created male and female. And yeah, so nowadays you could be born in very unlikely cases to have a vagina and a penis, but these are genetic deformities.
So you agree that there are male and female sexes, you just don't agree that there's two genders? That's what's confusing to me. I'm trying
Yeah.
to like get that.
The gender part it's strange because it's a construct based off of how society views sexes. Right. Like humans typically inherit a male or female oriented sex, although there is cases where there are intersex and just neutral sexes, depending on your hormone levels and your genitalia.
Right.
But if you're like, for instance, you can manipulate that level of gender, and like if you're a male, you're born with male genitalia, you identify as a female, gender is there to like construct that for you,
So
like if you feel like you were born in the wrong body, so to speak. I'm not that way. I can't speak for those people.
I think that's
But-
an identity issue, a brain issue, personality.
It's a perception
Identity.
issue.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not happy with the way they are, and they may see greener pastures on the other side. And it's
I mean,
it's
if they're comfortable with that, then that's what they're comfortable with,
yeah, they see it as a way of comfort, which I think that's something that happened in their life that rejects the other sex, why they don't want to be that, whether male or female. I think it's something that's happened to them that traumatized them in a way that, I've even heard on YouTube that, how does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump? Well, what difference does that make?
Donald
They see
Trump.
that as because you're a male and he's a male, all suddenly you should be offended. Like,
That's a really stupid example.
but that's a really stupid example. Yeah, it's. But then
It's a million
there's
people.
the more tentacle side of it that maybe
Bill
they had
Nye.
an abusive father, or maybe they had an abusive mother, or not caring mother. So maybe they see it as the other side's more better treatable. They could have had a better experience with the other sex, and just not realize it. Or maybe it's the only thing I can think of.
There's such a thing as gender dysphoria, but I really don't know what to think about all that, frankly.
The crazy thing is where we get down
Yeah,
with
this has
words.
gotten from a alleged comedy to not funny at all
This is not funny.
really quick. Actually, I never claimed it was a comedy.
PPs are funny.
I think I
crazy
actually
is-
put in the description a documentary.
the,
for the tag.
Where words came from is how you understand. Like, where did the word human come from? Where did the word woman come from?
Where
Man,
did humongous come from?
I have no idea.
I'm humongous.
Probably from, most things are from the French, Greek, that we've taken words, meshed them together. But then you go back to the root of it.
Let's talk
Where'd
about
that
the
come
Polish
from?
for a second.
Polish, yeah.
Let's talk about the Polish.
We're going to offend those in a second.
Let's
I
talk
know it.
about
Oh, no.
Poland. Okay, listen.
Yes.
I want to explain to you how the Nazis invaded Poland for a second. Just
Explain
for
to us.
history
It was
lesson.
pretty easy.
Just for a history lesson.
Yes.
Okay. The Nazis walked
now,
in
who
backwards.
are the Nazis?
They walked in backwards, and then they told the Polish people that they were leaving. And that's how they invaded Poland.
But
It's okay, I'm Polish. Fuck off.
I did not see that coming.
Did you see,
I'm
did you
really
see it
bad
going?
with my
Like,
words.
did you
No,
see it going like the Nazis? We're leaving, don't worry.
frankly, I didn't understand.
You must be Polish.
I actually am. Yeah, so
Well, fucking.
I love
case
my
in fucking
sausage.
point.
I love my sausage. I love my eggs and potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Eggs, potatoes, sausage all together. You can't go wrong.
Are you a snowboarder or a skier?
Snowboard. Yeah, I
Well,
don't
you
understand
must be
skiing.
Part ski because you're fucking Polak. Like it's
Oh
like-
yeah. Oh, the skis. Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm
Man,
Polish.
I'm getting shot down harder.
Please don't destroy my business.
Oh yeah, the Polish are serious people. I mean, they almost sound Russian. I met two of them at UTI. Speaking of weird people that you may meet, yeah, they were getting really offended when everyone was calling Russian because they have a very almost similar accent to Russians when they're speaking English. Yeah, they have that very aggressive tone and deep and bushkla, and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, very aggressive tone. So, yeah, you want to offend Polish, call them Russians. Yeah,
Just
they
call
must
them
dislike
Eastern
each other.
Europeans. If you don't call them Central Europeans, they'll get pissed.
Yeah.
Which is fair because, like, how the fuck far east is Europe? Because Russia fucks that whole thing up.
That's the funny thing too. Most, well, I can't say most Americans, but a lot of,
I'll be right back.
Bring the caddies down. See them. Kitties.
and we'll be right back after this episode brought to you by Rogaine. If you're bald like me and you don't know where you're going in life, get Rogaine.
I don't have enough ass hair, so I put Rogaine on my cheeks. And now I look like the fucking werewolf.
Dude, you get the worst.
I look like the How Wolf, the Y Wolf, and the werewolf, son. Look at this shit.
The X and the Y wolf.
Huh?
Oh, went back to chromosomes.
XYZ Wolf.
XYZ.
It's been a minute since I've explored genetics, and I really don't feel comfortable talking
We had
about
to
it.
advertise in our sponsor because I didn't know what to do in life.
Our sponsor.
Yeah, you just
But-
got up and left.
There is such a thing as intersex and sexual dimorphism. It happens throughout the animal kingdom.
Perhaps.
Like,
I think that's a product of the fall. Yeah.
What do you mean by
or
the
the
fall?
winter.
The effects of sin that came upon all of humanity and upon the whole world and whole universe, ultimately.
And that's talked about in the Bible, right?
Yes, yeah. I come at from a theological standpoint rather than a philosophical.
And you've studied a lot about this, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, more one-sided, which I will be eventually studying the philosophical side, which, just getting out. Yeah.
So we have two different viewpoints.
Yeah,
So
and I
you-
respect his view.
You
yeah. I don't agree
personally
with
have
it.
like a lot of books that you've showed me
Yeah.
that you're studying to be a theological writer, right? Like a Christian author.
Yeah,
That's
writer,
your goal, right?
radio. Yeah, talking about issues in the church mainly.
So you've been
Like taxation.
studying that for how long now?
I would say a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
aggressively. Yeah.
and then you come from university background, 4-year university. You majored in biology, is that correct?
I come from a non-religious background my
Okay.
whole life. It's
Right.
just-
Yeah, it's great to learn about, the
I'm a
Our-
very spiritual person, but like I just
both of our views are worldviews, It's just
the scientific method
there's
is
one
just
truth.
the only critical way you can work this perception in this like world as it stands as a human being is the only way you could critically assess data. Just like pre myself being a human being and post that, I don't know. But with what I'm given, that's the only method I trust. Because it's just critical thinking. And
Yeah.
some of it lines up with the Bible, and some of it does not. It's just
Well, give some examples of things that would not line up.
Or would line
Would
up
not?
with scripture, yeah.
getting into 9 figures of timeline,
And what's that?
hundreds of millions of years.
Oh, okay.
old.
Rather than 6,000 years.
Yes.
Yeah, creation, based on scripture, it's like around 6,000 years, which that's pretty recent.
It's very
Yeah.
recent.
Very recent, yes.
It's very
So you're
I've studied a little bit
That-
about the,
digs into Egyptian timeline with active presence with
that's roughly where everything started in the Mediterranean. According to scripture. And the study of rocks, that was with Bill Nye with volcanic rock, dating back where You probably know the logical way where you can tell a rock's age by its layers. And same as with with trees, the layers in the trees you can tell by its age.
Trees
And
are a little
there's-
different because trees don't go back that far. You can like
Where
count.
rocks do. That's what Bill Nye was saying. That rocks give way more accuracy, but it's accurate if you keep everything. So humanity's been around for 2,000 years. Do they agree with that? Or would you say, well, let's just go with recorded data with years. How long has that been going on? Like 100
Recorded
years?
data?
Yeah, for rock ages. Like the study of rocks.
Studying geology. That's the problem.
Yeah,
is
geo,
that there's
yeah.
been lost data too from Proto-Egyptian cultures. They studied pretty much everything,
So it's probably
especially in a desert environment.
20 years of data, research data over rocks and ages. And
20 years.
I think so. Started,
With
or
carbon
maybe
dating
40
you're
at the
referring
most.
to?
Yeah, I think that's what they call it. Or geo, but yeah, with carbonate, geo, it's the study of rocks and how to tell its layers by its ages. That's only been around at most since the 80s, I would think. That's actually been recorded. And that's a 40-year time period, which if the Earth is supposedly hundreds of millions of years old, you're going basis on a basis of 40 years being the exact same, changes. You have to use a lot of presumptions, almost like forensic science. When you go into a crime scene, only a couple hours later, things change. The crime scene gets messed with, either by the police or by someone who's tampered with it, and that's just over a period of a couple hours, maybe a couple days. And sometimes cases go left on because the evidence has been tampered with so much. Well, that goes with the same thing with carbonating and checking out the ages of rock, that over a period, if you want to say 100 million years, I'm going with 6,000 years to give you more help, is because as time goes on, evidence is going to get corrupted. It's just natural. Things don't follow in a natural suit in a natural world, Nothing's perfect. It doesn't follow the same mathematical form. Like each day is different. It rains, it pours. Rocks weather away, at different rates. They even send a volcano, a rock that shot up out of a volcano. Mm-hmm. They wait till it cooled, sent it into the lab, and they said it was, I think, only at most 40 years old. And it came from, the study showed that it came from the Christian scientist, Ken Ham, I think it was. It showed it came from roughly the very center of the Earth. And they said it was only a few years old. So
there are some fallacies with carbon dating, you're saying?
Well, yeah, it's because you have to have an environment that doesn't change. I forgot what you call that. It's got to be a controlled environment. That's what it's called. So within a 4-year time, you can see the variations, but that's a short time compared to 100 million years.
What would be your argument to that,
Yeah.
Cameron?
Go to the Grand Canyon.
Go to the Grand Canyon. Brock?
So with the Grand Canyon also, is the weather always going to stay the same?
I understand that lightning can affect carbon-12, which is the isotope that affects.
That they use? Okay.
Yeah.
That-
Take DNA from anything found in any piece of amber.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's going to be more than 6,000 years old.
What do you explain that? DNA found in amber?
Any biological organism that was frozen in amber or frozen in time with any of the tar pits or any dinosaur bone, it's going to be a long period of time that was in the ground. And take any biological sample from that, and you can date that with carbon-12.
And that's stayed at a constant environment throughout that time?
I mean, a constant geological database, sort of,
Within 40 years.
within 40 years?
I mean, the recordings.
1980?
I think that's when they started recording. I mean, even if we were to say 1900s, if they have paperwork from 1900s, that's nothing compared to 100 million years.
They found archaeological evidence back in the day.
I was just, given a point of forensic scientists, which they're scientists also, forensics.
I mean,
And
hypothetically,
over
Jesus
one
could
day-
have digging up dinosaur bones with where he was.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, same thing that goes
What-
to you comes back to me.
What does that say?
Yeah.
If you're in, like, let's say
So the same
23
scientists,
AD,
the
he
same,
could hypothetically go out and find a Tyrannosaurus bone,
yeah.
a rib bone. What do you do with that information? If he did,
Well,
What-
yeah,
what-
somewhere between the time period of 6,000.
What do you mean? What would
years
he
to-
do with
Like, yeah, what do you mean?
information?
well, that would kind of screw up the whole principle of the Earth being 6,000 years old, right?
I don't
No,
think so.
Not necessarily.
Because that's during the time of Adam.
There's
That's. I think
another
it's
problem I have with
a
that
part
is
of the flood, the Great Flood.
Adam
yeah.
and Eve were there, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden the Earth was populated. Like,
It wasn't us only populated. People had to
what
live
happened in
800
between
years.
that, right? That was the first human beings, right?
Yes, started with 2.
How did that get to where we are now?
Well, God made it where people were living for 800 years. And think of how many children you could have within that time span, where now we're living to 80. And then in the 1800s, people on
Okay, but-
average were living to 40.
Where's the record of any of those people?
The only record is Scripture, which is truly by faith, that I agree with.
So I can't go and
It's just recorded, yeah, and there could be Hebrew manuscripts, but that's all dealing with religious scriptures, based on people's preferences, people's understanding that the word of God came,
so you can't take a genealogical tree and figure out where Adam and Eve.
With Matthew 1, you can, and you can maybe use historical data, but I'm giving in your defense that you would have to trust man to be accurate with those.
What does Matthew 1 say?
Matthew 1 gives the large, I think, all the portions of genealogy of Jesus Christ from Adam all the way, the male side, I think it is, because that's how they did, all the way from Adam to Jesus, which that's 4,000 years? Yeah. So 4,000 years of genealogy,
Okay,
which
there's no recorded history of that 4,000 year period.
there's some. Yeah, there's some, but yeah, you're probably not going to find the whole 4,000, but yeah, there'll be evidences of kings that live. David is proven that he was real, and Solomon, stuff like that. Yeah,
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar. Yep, but he came from the side of Jesus, though. I don't think.
Must have had pure blood, huh? Because there's 2 humans, right? They procreate. They have
Well, when-
kids. Who do they procreate with?
What's even weirder is that Joseph didn't have sex with Mary, so this was completely by virgin birth, but God in his humanity took on the traits of both. He transcended, is the right word?
No, he's saying, who did Cain and Abel procreate with?
So Cain killed Abel, so his line was gone, and then who took over was Seth.
Cain
so it
and
was-
Abel came straight from Adam and Eve.
So Cain's genealogy fell off. So the next person, Adam and Eve, bared another son, and it was Seth. And then from Seth, it went on. I can pull up Matthew 1 where it goes from
No,
Seth
he's
on.
wondering
Wait, Adam
where
and Eve
they
are
came.
2 people.
Yeah.
2 humans.
Yeah. And they had,
They had Cain and Abel.
They
yep.
might have had
That's
daughters that
4
And
were
then
human
recorded.
beings on
and
the
then they
planet.
had Seth. That was also mentioned in scripture.
5 people
and it
now.
follows. And there's
4
and you can see
males
that
and
there's
1
more
woman.
because Cain eventually ended up marrying. And
to
then
who?
it doesn't mention the woman that he married, but it was from Eve. It had to been.
From me. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's already fucked
just doesn't-
genetics.
Well, at that time, that's all you could. Yeah, that's all you could do. And there was a time period, was it in Exodus, where God says no longer to be with certain family members, not with
Wasn't
your
it implied
father and
that
mother.
there was civilizations and marauders and different people?
At the
Like, how
beginning.
did it go from 2 people to like 10,000? This is just my interpretation of reading the New Testament.
It's a
like,
pyramid.
hold on, like wait,
And then the
how
flood
did
came
this go from
and destroyed it.
2 people to? It just skipped over some shit.
Actually, where you want to start at is the flood, because God wipes out the entire humanity during the flood, except for 8 people.
Well, I kind
on
of
a
want
boat.
to touch on what
Yeah.
he said earlier. Like, so Adam and Eve had children,
Yes.
presumably daughters.
And some were not mentioned in scripture because Cain had a wife. It doesn't mention the name.
right, but
But,
so
So just
Wouldn't-
glassing over that.
wouldn't the isn't it bad to inbreed, or
It's
would it
not
was
good
it different
genetically.
back then since they were the first people ever,
Well,
since they were like the purest gene code ever? Would
so
it
the
be different?
so the first that came was out of his rib. That's what it says. You know, out of the rib of man came woman, and that's
Mhm.
why she was called woman. So technically, in a sense, we're all related, and science proved that you're most likely, because you're white and European, I think, we're 13 cousins down the line. So that's what science say. They agree to it, that it's some sort of pyramid that's shaping.
but
came
that
from-
closeness though of like brother and sister,
Yeah.
is that good?
Well, God made it allow that there be no diseases because there had to be creation. Otherwise, you plant more than two people. I mean, God chose that there be a man and there be a woman in the garden. He could have planted a whole family if he wanted to, but he wanted to start with two. Probably because to show that the fall of man, it came by one person and not by a whole family. I mean, but yeah, in Exodus, when it started to spread out, in Exodus, I think it's Exodus, they gave the command, or it's in Leviticus, that you are not to sleep with your father or your mother because to reveal their nakedness, If you sleep with your mom or his wife, you reveal their nakedness, So he did eventually outlaw it after the population started to grow.
But before that,
Before
it
that,
was okay.
well, yeah, you had to.
Before Exodus or before the flood?
In Genesis, yeah, with Adam and Eve, yeah, it had to been. If you want to stick with scripture and saying the truth, Adam and Eve were the only people there. So Cain had a wife. God didn't put someone down on the earth. He was having it
So-
come through Eve.
It was Eve that was his wife?
No, one of his, most likely one of his sisters or first cousins.
Okay.
First cousin is a rarity, but most likely was his sister.
And back then it wouldn't have been a problem?
No, it wasn't a disease. The only disease
But
is if
wasn't
you-
this post sin? Wouldn't there have been diseases when Cain married?
Sin is when you disobey the laws of God, and then there brings upon sickness. He's the one who authorizes what sin is and what is.
What I'm saying is this would have been post the fall.
This is the post.
So
the
there
fall.
would have been diseases because that's when
There would have
everything
been
started.
diseases,
right?
but I'm saying with intersex or with what's it called, with family, it wasn't sinful because God didn't make it sinful because of population to grow. But then in Exodus, when the population started to grow, He's said to not do that. Yeah,
Because with population growth,
yeah, He
that
could.
brings about more chances for disease. Versus when there was just Adam and Eve and a few people, there was no.
I'm very simple about it. Like, for me, the way I understand it, you have two people, you have no choice. You have to have sex with your sister and your brother. And then as the population grow, God said, this is now illegal. You don't do that.
Isn't God the same today, yesterday, and forever?
Yeah.
Then why
So the-
change his stance?
I'm saying on the population growth, I don't know other than that. I just accept it because it was population growth. And that, it's not like it was for Adam and Eve. It came out of, it's your very own flesh and blood. It came out of rib.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
But your argument is that that's not good, basically, right?
Not good in modern times.
not in modern times, yeah. And
But
that's what-
possibly back then.
I don't see how that would change at all because it's reality.
Would it change if those two people were the first people ever? Would that change the dynamics at all?
Physics and chemistry doesn't change for people,
But what if people's just complete makeup was different back then?
If
In the
it
beginning.
was, then I couldn't comment on that. if it actually was, I don't know.
That's
If-
what you would call a miracle.
Yeah, a fucking miracle.
It's easier for me to like, think about another example. So like maybe an Avatar world
I'd-
or something like that, like a perfect world other than this.
Yeah.
So I try to imagine like a made up world where it's like perfect environment, no diseases. If you had two people there and they had, sons and daughters and they, procreated, would that mess anything up like
Today,
genetically in a perfect environment?
In a perfect environment, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
But even
probably not. Yeah.
when they did that, it wasn't perfect because that was post the fall.
It wasn't
still.
perfect, but yeah, God did not commit the order that it was sinful. Yeah.
My whole issue is that there's this big, like, there's two people, and then there's a lot of people. It's like
Well, the crazy part is that
in the
flood,
New Testament.
the flood destroys all of Adam and Eve's generation, and it starts with Noah, which came from Adam, but it's just Noah and his family there, and then it starts over.
I want to. So, what do you mean that? How does that amaze you that there were two people and then a lot of people?
It's not amazing. It's like, where's the rest of this history? If it's history, like, okay, it goes from Adam and Eve, if I remember correctly, to Cain and Abel, right?
Is that right?
It's implied that there's like more people.
So
in the
6,000
world.
years
Like
is
there's civilization going on.
a long time, but we lose information within 100 years, like carbon dating. It's 40 years, and I'm just saying the same question that you're given for carbon dating. It's so easy to lose history because
It's 40 years.
mainly wars is what caused the loss of history. I think it was the French Revolution or something like that, where they just burned up an entire library of books in history that was written down. I think a large part of it was the Catholic Church books, documentaries that they burned down, or maybe they're the ones the only people that saved a part of history. But I was reading up on that wars are the main issues why history and science have been lost.
That's a fair
Yeah.
point. Just
Yeah.
from the Library of Alexandria, that put us back like 200 years.
Yeah,
That being burnt at that point in time.
age, wars. They
It's
say
like-
wars is the major.
There's got to be at least some oral history for, like, how long does it take for two people?
The Bible is the only thing
There's
that's
two people, and a
oral
serpent,
history that
and
stayed.
God. That's four entities. Right?
So is
Wait,
there's
I want to
the.
hear what he's saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, there's four entities, right? There's the serpent, which is Satan, blah, blah, blah. God, Adam, and Eve. There's four entities that are important in this part of the book. And then it just skips to Cain and Abel, if I remember correctly.
Talks about naming the animals and stuff.
There's six people.
Yeah.
Entities. Not people, whatever. But, like, but it also implies that, like, this is during civilization. So it's,
hmm
civilization implies there's thousands of other people. So it's like, okay, that's a lot of time. That's generations to just compress into. Oh, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So
You know
you're
what I'm saying?
saying
Yeah.
that there's a big gap between all of a sudden they're in the garden and now there's civilization with Cain and Abel.
It's like in a movie where it's like 30 years later. Like, okay, what the fuck happened in between that?
Okay,
Oh.
I see what you're saying.
Well,
Is
Cain and
there,
Abel were the two that were first born.
is there anything that the Bible says before Cain and Abel? Does it say after the garden how civilization?
Like, who found them fucking up? You know what I'm saying?
Like
Okay, Cain kills Abel. Who
Yeah.
finds that?
Oh, it was God. Yeah, purely that he was dwelling with them at the time. Yeah, and Cain goes, "Am I my brother's keeper?" to God. So at the time, God was dwelling with them. So you're asking who is the person who is writing this book, supposedly documenting all this stuff, and it's Moses through revelation of God,
So
but God,
there's seven
he
entities.
yeah,
now.
yes. So God is the main history writer, and he gave it unto Moses this revelation that happened to Adam and Eve. and he wrote it down.
I think he's more along the lines of wondering how the civilizations came to be after.
Oh, I
the
thought you were
garden.
talking about who was the evidence, who was watching all this happen.
I'm thinking logically, like, how the
Logically, how it happens, like between two people, it goes into four people, then four
Well,
goes
how
into
come it's not
8.
written down? Is
Then-
what we're trying to get to.
Like every single person,
yeah,
every single person.
all those other people that were alive during that period.
If you were
Where
to
the fuck did they come from?
imagine writing down every single information,
Yeah,
Who
but
would
where
read-
did they come from?
where
If
did they come
Adam
from?
and Eve are the originators of humanity.
Yes.
Where the fuck did they come from?
Where did
Everybody else.
the suns and all that? Well, humanity spread, and even with the scientists, they started from the Mediterranean. They worked their way around up to the strait, and then going over into Alaska, and then down south into North America. Is that what you're saying, or?
So how? What's the time frame from Adam and Eve to Cain and Abel?
Oh, and
yeah.
within okay.
1100 years, 20 years.
Oh,
That's a good question.
I don't think not very
30,000
long.
years, like,
Uh,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay. Well, yeah, I don't think it's not very long. So he drove out. Okay, so
it's just
Because I think they.
So it was.
That's the part
it,
that's
it,
always
it
confused
sounds
me.
like it's immediately. So he drove out the man and he placed him in the east of the garden, cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. So it seems immediately after they were pushed out of the garden. So pretty quickly, yeah, I would say.
But there's no specific timeline.
There's no
given
specific timeline. It just says "and," which is a plus, which you would think it's immediately after being kicked out. It seems to follow very
Adam
and
and Eve have Cain and Abel
yes, and then
directly.
yeah,
There's no other.
and then
people. There's
and
four
then it
people.
says, and she again bare Abel. Then Abel was killed, and then they end
And
up
then there's
bearing
3 people.
Seth.
How come it doesn't keep record of any daughters? There had to have been daughters to create Cain
Yes,
and Abel.
and that's
well,
where
not to
Cain
create them, but
Cain
so
had
they
his
could-
wife.
Right.
Yeah. That's because back then, and it's all the way up into the New Testament where the male line is the one that's noted down. People say that's sexist.
Patriarchy.
Yeah. It's just your view on it.
Right.
Man came first, man was born, and that's where the genealogy. Think about it in America. I mean, are we going to get this so technical where women now get the last name? Guys always give the last name to the woman,
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
So,
Sometimes.
well, yeah, nowadays,
Like most of the time.
sometimes they intermingle the last name where it'll be Candy /
Onassis.
Onassis or something.
Candy.
Yeah. I was just thinking off the wall name. But yeah, it's the surname.
Like it.
Kings, they would have sons to carry on to the throne. So,
My opinion on it would be, kind of what he was saying. There is this gap between the garden and Cain and Abel, and it's a little ambiguous how these civilizations started, but the end of, I think it's the end of John, says if we were to write everything down that Jesus did, it could not
couldn't
contain
be contained.
like the book would be just endless. So I imagine, God probably specifically picked things that were pertaining to further the story.
Important.
Just
yeah.
like any author, I guess. I mean, if you're a good author, you're not going to go, okay, and blah, da, 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 and then 5,000 lines later, and this is why he did it. You kind of want to drive it, but also have the importance in there. So
And who would want to read a book? I mean, there's 66 books in the Bible, and hardly no one reads it. I mean, most pastors don't read all their Bibles. I think it was a poll that was done on pastor read all their Bible, and I think 45% did. I've never read all the Bible all the way through. It's 66 books.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's 66 books, and so it's like it's just massive. But you can get it done in a year if you tried easily. So, but yeah, there's
If
just
everything
so
was
much
to be
information.
recorded, it would just be like
Too much.
impossible to keep things on track because that's not the main focus of the Bible. The main focus of the Bible, I believe, is to save humankind from a messed up world a fallen world and to try to get them back in line with God. If God was to go off and explain every little detail, I think it would probably distract
Yeah, to
from
seek
that.
and
Although there are genealogies explained in Genesis
I wanted to show
and
you
Mark,
Matthew
but-
1 because
or Matthew,
thought-
sorry. Yeah, Matthew 1.
yeah, because it does give genealogies and
We've gotten on a subject I didn't think we'd get onto, but it's interesting learning some stuff.
so it starts off with Abraham is the first start of it.
Rule number 1.
Which
don't
is the
walk in
promise
front of
given.
the camera.
So it starts from Abraham,
Oh,
which
shit, I'm being
Abraham
filmed? Oh, hell.
the reason why it starts off with Abraham is because he was the first that was given the promise. So the time of Abraham would be the thing to figure out between Abraham and David, or I mean Adam. But it goes from Abraham, and it's the whole chapter from he begat Isaac, Isaac begat Jacob, Jacob begat Judas, and Judas begat Phares, and Zara of Thamar. You know, it's very descriptive. So your counter argument would be, what about before Abraham?
Well, the stars
Yeah.
in the universe
Yes.
and all their religions.
Yes.
What about those?
Say that again. What about the stars and their religion?
Every
Well,
single
all the religions that are
ecosystem
out there.
in the solar system. Stars, habitable planets that we haven't been to. And all their religions. What do I believe?
Well, you're presuming that they even have
Life.
no
Or-
religions.
or
plural.
religions.
I mean,
They might be beyond that.
But let's stick with Earth with 800 or so religions. You know,
Thousands.
what makes this one right?
Right.
Moral. The main example is morals.
You're saying other ones aren't moral? It's a perceptive thing. Like Buddhism isn't moral.
You will find some issues with, okay, let's look at Islam, where it's okay to kill and to murder if you are not a part of that.
Isn't that
God
also
doesn't
the
condone
Old
murdering.
Testament?
The Old Testament is way different than what Islamic Sharia law is.
how so?
So I would have to take a week to study, but Sharia law is simply if you do not believe in this, you will be killed. Where in the Old Testament, it was simply to defend David. David was the main, or Joshua, I would say, is the main one that would went out and killed. That was out of defense and over to what God gave Israel as a nation.
Going out doesn't sound like defense, though. That sounds like offense. He's avidly going out to kill.
Well, you have to think it from a perspective that he is a God who knows the hearts of every man and knows the terror that will bring on a nation. Think about this. Okay, think about U.S. military, Homeland, what is it called? Homeland Security? Is that what we have
Homeland
today?
Defense
Or Homeland Defense?
same thing.
Made
If
up
you
the
were to
title.
get information that a terrorist was coming in, would you not go out to seek him first? If you have clear evidence, information that this person is going to go to this specific city and blow up this city,
Like Bin Laden with 9/11, and we never found him.
sure.
But yet a CNN reporter.
Yeah, let's
allegedly
just say
did.
you had an all-knowing entity, being, that knew all this stuff, that knew every man's heart, and knew what would happen to a nation if this person were to get into that nation. And that's what God was. He was the general. He was the person who was the like Homeland Security that was able to seek and find out who is going to interrupt with Israel's conquest. Yeah. It was defense. Pure simply. They were pagan nations that were seeking to bring in their religion, and God was defending that country because they could not live peacefully because they were serving the God Yahweh. That's the difference. Where Sharia law, it's simply based on a God that says, if you are not following Allah, he is an infidel and shall be killed. If he rejects Allah, if he is a Muslim who is committed and converted, and he rejects that Muslim, he should be excommunicated and also definitely be killed. That's Sharia law. With the God of Scripture, he is a general, like today. He's a person that sought and defended Israel. You know, and I'm just giving that point out that if you had an all-knowing general who knew the heart of every man. So would you not send out Joshua to go out and kill?
Right, I see your
Yeah.
point. But what about the morality point where I think Cameron, you said that morality is somewhat subjective. And
Oh,
then you're
yeah.
saying morality is not subjective, it's
Entirely
No, it was
subjective.
given. Yeah.
it's a straight set of laws, right?
Islam
Yeah.
and the Old Testament and the New Testament have different sects of morality.
Yes.
It's not subjective. I don't know what is. Like, what is objective about all those things? Other than that, is it like theism? It's the only objective thing about it. Is there's structure to it,
So
but all the thoughts are different. It's like there's no objective morality to any of it. You know?
So it's objective in the sense that God is the one who established these laws, which God, but it's also subjective in the fact that He has.
Which
In Scripture, it says, well, I don't know what the Quran says, but in Scripture it says that the law of God is written into every man's heart, and he knows them. It's just whether he rejects them. And you know what's interesting about Scripture too is that it makes clear evidences that everyone knows that there is a God. They just reject him. Like, you know, as a
that
friend,
seems like a logical fallacy, but
yeah, this is what's so interesting about it, that it would even say that you know that there is a God, but you reject it in your heart. And you know yourself more deeply than anyone else to know that, do you really think that there is a God? And you reject it. Because Scripture says that everyone knows that God exists. It's just whether they reject him or not, or hide it, you know?
it seems like a binary fallacy.
Yeah, and once you say that's an
Well,
outright...
explain that real quick. Binary fallacy.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't accept our belief, then you're doing something wrong, and you are in.
No, it's not saying that. It's saying that every man knows. And so,
Every man knows this
That
thing
there is a
that we
God,
are
yeah.
pushing is
yeah.
either correct or incorrect, and by association, if you don't believe what we're saying, you are incorrect and wrong.
Well, I see it this way, where...
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. But
what
think
about
about
the
this
third
way.
option? Like, well,
Well, you're presuming a little bit that there's pushing going on. Is
But-
there pushing going on in that
there's an
context?
agenda in this speech.
Well, I think
You
it's
know?
pretty interesting because it leads up to the person to know, because you know yourself better than anyone. And when Scripture says that every person knows that there is a God, you can immediately use evidence because you know yourself better than anyone. Well,
Okay.
I definitely do not feel anything inside me that there is a God. That's what it's saying.
and suddenly
Yeah.
I'm incorrect because of that.
What's that?
The scripture. Like, if I don't
Well,
feel
that's-
that way,
that's
then
what I believe.
am incorrect.
But this is evidence towards you that if you do not believe that and you know in your heart,
How is that
That-
evidence?
whether to believe that, that's a false religion. You know?
It's binary.
You
It's
mean
like-
just the ability to deny it is
Yeah, you
evidence
have,
of a
you
God,
have
you're
the,
saying?
yeah, so
It's not good evidence.
no, that's what I'm saying. It's not good evidence.
Having
If
an
if you
altering
can-
opinion is not good evidence, you know?
yeah, if you don't have to prove to somebody, you just have to tell them that, okay, Scripture says that every person knows that there is a God, and you can say yes or no. And if you say no, well then, and it's
I didn't
true,
know that.
then that's a false religion. Yeah.
What if you didn't know that?
Well, that's what Christianity is for, to tell the person, well, Scripture says that every person knows that there is a God, and they just,
What if I knew there was a different
I would
one?
rather, huh?
What if I knew there was a different one?
The Scripture just says a God, that there is a all-powerful being. Yeah.
Why would I assume that as a person? Like, if I looked around.
It says God put it in their hearts, in everyone's heart.
Doesn't it say also he's made it evident in the
In the stars,
Nature
yeah,
around us.
nature, yeah,
Right.
all of creation. That there
maybe
is a
I'm
creator.
not a person. You know,
do you believe biologically you might not be?
a person?
Yeah.
How would I know?
Now that's a philosophical question for Socrates. Shout out to him, by the way. If you're
Socrates?
Yo, shouts out to the man.
watching. He doesn't get good reception where he's at. That's Wi-Fi.
Shouts out to Kafka, man. Your dad was a bitch ass motherfucker.
I can't
But
speak for
you
that, but
Are on a mural in Ann Arbor, right next to Woody Allen. And
for
that's
real,
fucked
he
up.
is
Yes. Franz Kafka.
right next to Woody Allen.
Well, he's like in between two people. But he's on the same strip of mural. Like he's in the mural. Like you, Woody Allen's gross.
So this is
Allegedly.
what either destroys. Have you ever seen a religion that just destroys itself from within? Because if this is not
The
true,
Flying spaghetti monster. Yes.
Romans 1:18 says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who holds the truth in unrighteousness." He's saying that everyone knows about this, because that which may be known of God is manifested in them, for God has showed it unto them. So this is saying that you know that there is a God. For the visible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
I must have missed the memo.
Yeah. So you yourselves can know that
So
this is
by
a false
me
religion.
not knowing, I am denying because I don't have that information.
No, by you knowing, because you don't have that information, you
I
can
must
prove.
know.
Yeah.
I have some like
If this is a
preternatural knowing of this thing.
yes, if
And
this
me
is a
not
true
knowing
religion,
Post that.
it's a
I'm
false religion.
Denying.
But none of us can prove that
No.
there's a God.
I
right?
believe that he knows, not to offend you, but that's because of my faith. But you yourself can know that this is a false
Can.
religion.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, because
What you're
this
saying
is supposed to be 100% truth, you know. So what I'm saying is, if
I have a problem with 100%. This is my point.
complete, whole.
I have a problem with it
yeah.
because I've
Well-
never found anything to be 100%.
That's the thing about this. This claims to be 100% truthful.
There's a lot of things that
So
claim
if
to
you
do that.
if you know that verse is false, you can say this is a false
I
religion.
don't know
and-
anything is false either.
Oh.
That's the whole thing because that in and of itself is a 100% knowing
kind of a
of that.
conundrum.
That's the paradox.
It's kind of
and
like
that's-
living in limbo.
It's like atheism. Like you're saying that there is nothing.
Well,
That can't be true either because if you live in reality, there's no 100%.
Isn't
of
that a
everything.
constant state of just limbo? Like not believing something can be totally true and not believing something can be totally false?
I
It's
think
not
that's
limbo,
humbleness.
It's mutability.
I think that's
it
humbleness.
seems like a lot of
You know.
maybe just confusion, constant confusion.
I don't think it's confusion. I think it's seeking out everything.
Yeah.
But what are you
can't
seeking?
anything.
Knowledge. Yeah.
But knowledge,
Under-
the knowledge you're seeking can never be a 100%.
Quantifiable.
though.
Can't be.
Because nothing can be 100%.
Would it? Do you think?
But you can get
Do you
damn
think
near.
nothing can be 100% on this world we live in because it's screwed up? What
Yeah,
if-
we
could
are,
something
we're only
be?
going to live to about 100.
Could something be 100% in a perfect environment? Do
In a
you think?
hypothetical environment, sure.
Okay, let's start from there. So the Bible
Hypothetical,
says,
non-real, yes.
I just
Well,
want to hit on what
I've
he
never
said.
seen that shit in my life, and it will never happen. But in a hypothetical world,
but you
sure.
can't say it'll never happen because you said there's no 100%, right?
Because it hasn't happened so far.
Hasn't-
We've only lived a short time.
And I'm 99.99% sure it won't happen. But it might happen, but it probably won't.
What separates
You know what I'm
from
saying? Like,
It's hard to prove.
What
I
Either
I-
way.
can't prove it. It might happen. I
Right.
hope I'm wrong, but it probably fucking won't.
Well.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying with this. It probably won't happen. I hope it does.
Do you think it has happened in the past?
No. No.
And what is that based off? Just your scientific
every human
research?
every human interaction I've ever had, because we are flawed and
Yeah.
fallible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's never been a perfect world. In this world,
The
no.
Bible, the Bible claims
That's.
before it
That-
was perfect.
I think
though.
that's the only thing that religion and biology have in common is that like we are flawed
Yeah.
people. I think that's the only thing that is like really in common and congruent is that everything's fucked up.
right.
I think that's the only thing that is like.
Well, that's the one thing I want to go back appreciation for. To I really know you better now is because not too many people are humble like that to say that they don't know everything. I don't know everything.
That's
And that's the biggest point. It's like
Dude's
it
wearing a
could be.
DJ Screw shirt, drinking Shorts Brew. He's pretty humble.
well.
I don't.
This was a good
know.
price.
There you go.
I've never heard of it,
And-
but
You know, Screwed Up Click H Town. Shouts out to fucking DJ Screw. You know, he slowed it down for everybody to understand. That's all good, man. Shouts out to Houston, bro.
Houston, Indiana. Shout out.
Shouts out to Texas. Shouts out to Houston. 96 screwed up click. You know what I mean? Viper was in the game.
Viper. Yeah, dude.
Viper and George
He's
Floyd.
probably my 5th subscriber.
Viper, DJ Screw, and George Floyd were all in the same
Yeah, we're
group.
sponsoring now.
That's the crazy thing about all this.
Actually, I
shit.
think he's telling the truth on that.
That's real
What's
shit.
that? Sorry, I zoned out for a second.
DJ Screw, Viper, George Floyd. I'm pretty sure they all knew each other. They're all
Really?
famous for different reasons.
Oh, so
I mean, that's some crazy shit, dog.
Like in
This
the rap
life-
game.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this life is what goes behind the scenes. You know, someone's in control of it.
Some heavy ass podcast. You'd
Yeah,
like to-
3 dudes in the basement talking about what things might be going on.
well,
in the
babe, you
outside
wanted
world.
to know what we were talking about all day, so we recorded it. It's 4.5 hours of.
No, it's
Ye-
going to be that long.
Yard work.
Hour 30.
Oh wow, that's really short.
It's not bad.
So
Yeah.
when you were, a little bit ago, you were saying not many people you interact with are as humble as him. Is that
Yeah,
what
that's
you were
what-
getting at? Or-
That's why I don't talk to many people because there's a lot of arrogancy. You know.
Hanging out with assholes.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
it doesn't
you're
matter
cool,
what
yeah.
the whole
creed or-
world.
It doesn't matter who the fuck what they believe in. They're just being a fucking cocksucker. They suck.
Yeah, there's respect
Like,
on
it
both
just-
ways.
I
you
think
know?
it's fascinating. You two have completely polar opposite viewpoints, but you're sitting on the same couch.
Yeah, and we can live in the
I like
same
this
world.
blanket.
You know.
Yeah, I
do
did.
too.
I put a blanket on everybody. It was a gross yellow, so I tried to
Oh,
make it.
it's nostalgic for me though, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a throw pillow or throw
It was
blanket.
outside of my house. We picked it up.
actually, true. I looked at it and I was like, I'm taking this. I'm taking this couch.
I'm taking this couch. It was
So
right
you're
outside.
wondering-
And we actually just dragged it here.
That was a long,
Oh,
long walk. All 5 minutes of it. Shouts out to Kay. Thank you. Rest in peace. Thank you for the couch.
so you've had to meet like a ton of unique people doing cab driving. I mean, that seemed pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, if you
What
want
do
to
you think-
touch on that.
Yeah.
I don't know
that's
how
a-
long you guys want to go.
You know,
That
You
could be
know,
a long
How long do you want to go?
discussion.
I don't think you want to know what my history with this couch, frankly.
So with
he
cab
told me.
driving, I had a
You
lot
told
of-
me a lot. Yeah.
Oh, you,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think I told you specifically what happened.
Well, not in
I don't know if I
detail,
told
but
you
I mean,
specifically. I can't remember.
No, I don't think you
I
did.
just know it was sexual. Yeah. And you figured it's a couch with a throw blanket over it.
Well, this actually wasn't.
No,
It was just bare, bare couch.
Yeah.
Bear couch.
Anyway,
I'm gonna take a fucking high now.
All right. That feels good.
to be a gangster.
I'm smelling smells that 3 men in a basement should not be. We need air conditioning.
I should. I could actually open that window.
That air filter is going to get some. Oh, no, it's okay. It's all good. It's just,
So you asked about my cab driving experiences.
yeah. What would you say would be your? It'll probably be top 5. Or
Top
to-
5?
or top 3, or do you got more? Yeah.
I mean, so a top 5, basically.
Or you can just do the. I figure because
Well,
of all
you know,
the people.
Nothing too crazy's happened. Like, nothing like crazy.
No, just
But
wacky
I've met a
sayings,
lot of
man.
like interesting people, and these it doesn't have to be bad experiences either. I've had really cool, wacky experiences.
That's
you
what
know?
I want to hear. The goofy. You
Okay.
know, the
the
off the
goofiest
wall.
one that comes to mind, one of the goofiest ones. So I started driving cab. Ooh man, 2015, summer of 2015, and I can't remember if it was this year or the year after that. But I went to pick up 2 guys from a local strip club in town,
All
called
right.
Potter's Gentlemen's Club.
Which he got in some trouble, I think. Yeah. The owner.
Oh well, we won't go there.
Oh, yeah. He might be watching
But
from his prison
yeah,
cell.
I don't know.
He might be out.
I don't want to make those allegations. I don't
All right.
But anyway, yeah, I picked up two guys from a strip club, and they hopped in, and I could tell they were good friends. They were joking around with each other and talking and whatnot. They're making me laugh. I mean, just two guys that totally opposite. The one was like an athletic build, but he was goofy.
Really? All
So he
right.
wasn't arrogant. He was just a goofy. Those type of guys.
Those are cool, yeah.
Just the funny dumb
Also-
jocks. The dumb jocks are fun. It's the jocks that are arrogant that are not fun. But
Yeah.
he was like a goofy jockey type guy, and the other guy was like 5'5", just like not really chubby, but just like a little bit around the rim,
Little chub. Yeah.
and just short. And
A little around the edge.
I gotta figure out a different thing for this.
This is Fetal Position 101 and Computer Kitty.
And delete podcast.
Yeah. The whole podcast is gone.
So yeah, his other friend,
Completely
complete
opposite.
opposite of athletic build in every way possible. So they needed a ride from the strip club out past MIS, which is the NASCAR track in Brooklyn.
That's a nice car.
NASCAR.
That's a nice car, man.
Speaking of faster horses, carbon monoxide poisoning. But that
That's
went
a
on.
whole different animal.
Yeah, we could talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good now that we're rolling. First it was a little slow, but actually, yeah, that might help.
But yeah, so you got this
There you go.
big jock
So
who's goofy, and then you got this short guy.
short
which,
guy who is not, but still funny,
Okay,
well,
so
nerdy.
he wasn't.
The best I could
Really?
say is like nerdy and then
Okay.
jockey, but they were friends, so it was really cool seeing that
That's
dichotomy.
awesome.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so I take them from the strip club. They got to go out past MIS to some house.
Creamy, like a cream. Almost
Creamy?
like a what is it? Summer shady
Shandy?
or shandy? Yeah.
I
Yeah,
suppose, yeah, sure.
It's smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a beer, it's not supposed to be
7.5%.
7.5, baby.
that ain't much more. Yeah.
That's pretty good for a beer.
6%
7.5
as usual.
Just enough, let me tell
Yeah.
you.
No, usual is like 4,
Oh, I thought it was
4.5.
6.
Five.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Bud
okay.
Lights and
Oh.
all the name brands.
Bud Light's like
Okay.
4.2, some bullshit.
I was. Yeah, when I did drink beer, it was Budweiser Select, the black. Yeah. I don't like the lights, but the platinum's good.
So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're driving through Jackson on the
I
way
want
to.
to give a quick shout out to
Okay.
Christina Applegate.
Never mind.
No, take that drink.
Quick shout out to Christina Applegate. You're the fucking.
Is she
you
from
know-
Michigan?
Who cares?
Oh shit.
She from, like the good part of the world. All of it.
As long as it's not Ohio.
That's fair.
We got to hit 49 more states to offend.
Ohio's for lovers. Fuck off, Hawthorne Heights. That's bullshit. Some bullshit. I tell you
Isn't
what.
it Virginia's for lovers?
Is it?
So
Yeah,
you're a
pretty
short guy, you're jock.
So I'm doing this podcast, right? And these two guys in my basement drinking alcohol.
One who's kind of
Drinking rosé.
on a chubby side, the other one kind of built like a jock.
Shouts out to Rick Ross.
kind of
rosé.
kind of bogarting that.
Shout
Sorry.
out to Bob Ross.
Sorry about that.
Actually, speaking of influential people that's passed, Bob Ross, man,
Listen,
can't believe it.
Didn't
Uh,
he pass away a long time ago?
shouts out
Well,
to
yeah,
DMX.
same as Steve Irwin, influential.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He was around during the 90s, I think. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Shouts out to DMX, Darkman X. You'll never be forgotten. That's on some real shit real quick.
I actually love painting.
I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. Listen, this got me fucked up. All right.
Shout out to Aretha Franklin because I can never pronounce your name. without using the chord. Yeah, Aretha. I don't know.
PP Franklin.
PP Franklin.
Urethra Franklin?
Yeah,
Urethra?
Urethra. Urethra?
Aretha?
There's an A.
Urethra.
Aretha.
Urethra. Sorry, Aretha.
Yep.
Aretha.
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 That should be the name of your cat. Urethra Franklin.
I thought you were gonna say of my podcast, the Aretha.
Franklin show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Man Sex.
Dark Mass Matters.
Oh my god.
I just lost him.
I've been lost for years, man.
You're found
Nope.
Amen.
in the bottom of Cody's basement.
You know, I felt something.
I felt something too.
Subliminal, just driving through South Dakota, like going through the.
When did you go there?
God, I don't know what highway it was, but just going through the fields of it, looking out, seeing the rolling grasslands of it.
When was this?
Last time I was out there was 2 years ago, 2019,
Okay.
like August, July, August 2019. Yeah,
Oh.
something around there, late
What was-
July, early August.
What was subliminal?
Just seeing like a desert of grass and no people, it's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
That's the shit that makes you want to keep going, you know?
But what was subliminal about it?
Like you're seeing, like you look to the, if you've ever been on Lake Michigan,
I've been to the
In-
Plain States, yeah, where it's just open grass.
Not much to do. Oh, open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
if you
completely
just
open.
see nothing on the horizon, like
Yeah.
you see as far as you can possibly see and it's grass
Yep.
or it's water,
Yeah.
and then you turn around and it's the same thing. That's like, you can see that from Lake Michigan up when you're on the beach from one side, but you turn around and there's civilization.
Yeah, when I was in the plains, I saw it freaked me out.
Yeah, when you're out there, you can 360-degree turn and
Yeah.
there's nothing. There might be like your car, the road, but that's it. Everything
Yep.
else beside that, there's nothing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful to me. There's no fucking people. There's
To
no
me, I felt-
farms. There's no ranches. There's nothing. There's no animals. It's just grass. It's like, oh my god.
And me, I was about ready to have a severe anxiety attack because it just felt like creation mode on Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like flat, like world, nothing. And you just want to build on it just to not make it so.
You just have to respect what it is, you know?
I would
Be like,
do,
this
at
is
least
where I am
trees
now, and like, this is how it's always been.
become.
You just accept and respect that beauty for what it is. You know?
Probably be roadkill. On the ground.
1850, I don't know, man.
Oh,
Do
1850.
you ever feel that way with life, where you're just looking into the horizon and there's nothing?
When I'm in South Dakota at Lake Michigan, yes.
I mean, in your mind.
I was meditating last night and I was trying to think of what color my soul was, and then I saw a red door and I saw Anubis in it. It was black and red. It was dark, and I was like, okay.
Dang.
I was comfortable with that though. You know,
I can relate, dude, because
we gotta have villains in this world.
when I was driving cab, I won't go into the story now. It's been
Aw,
it's
come
been ruined.
on.
But when I was driving cab, I definitely felt like that, where I was comfortable with being bad,
I don't think it was bad. It just I saw
dark.
Egyptian shit. You
Well, I
got
was
some-
definitely into feeling like very dark, feeling a lot of darkness around me, and I was like okay with it.
there's
So I know what you're saying.
there's darkness and there's negativity, and I think those two things are different.
No, it wasn't negative. It was like I'd come down here and I would shut off all the lights and just have a projector going with like, I don't know, just like something in the background, just like playing just heavy music along with it,
Man.
and I would do that a lot. I would just come down here, shut off all the lights and like listen to music or just like be in a really dark frame of mind and just be down here for hours, you know?
I mean, there's nothing like poetic about the absence of light, other than it's the absence of light. I think.
That's what's crazy
You
about
know,
that. Light is what
like-
gives color. To be able to see.
It's all
color.
radiation.
Yeah.
Like white light is white color. It's just that's all it is. It's all radiation. It's between 300 and 700 nanometers. And the UV spectrum, whatever, like
It's crazy that it actually has matter. That light actually has a mass. A very light. If you could contain all the light in this room, it would actually add up to a weight.
technically.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They're photons, right? Light particles.
I think so.
I just know the four-letter word mass.
I'm not a physicist.
Effect.
I respect physicists. I don't understand them.
They're on a whole nother. Yeah,
Like a
it's,
lot of people.
It seemed like electricians. Yeah, they like what they do, and it's just
Growing up, I've always felt something innate where I've been able to understand certain things physically in the world, but I've never been able to like get them down through words.
Yeah.
Like if I hear someone talk about physics or something, like I get what they're saying, but I could never replicate it, and I could never make up my own theories on stuff. But I get what they're saying to an extent.
Is that because you need like an analogy?
Yeah, analogies do help for me a lot,
Yeah.
but just like
Metaphors.
I don't know what just like the analogy with a lot of that is simple though. A 2-year-old can understand a blanket. You drop a ball, that's space. 2-year-old
Right, but
could
that's
get that.
fundamentally what it is.
I'm
though.
saying more like when I was a kid,
Taking that to the
it
next
wasn't
step.
really those analogies, but I could just like I would think of stuff. I can't even explain it, dude. And then nowadays I'm reading on it. People have done this research. I'm like, oh, I thought of that when I was like a kid. Like that came to mind, like to me. But I just grew up in an environment where I did not read books. I did not study at all. It was very not educational.
Well, this was the thing with cars, that I learned about that the sensor at the front, the ambient sensor, I think it is, or the light sensor that's on the front of your dash. I wanted that to be hooked up, and I wanted to create something that would be able to tint your windows. They already have that technology, but to hook that sensor up so as it detects that daylight, it would slowly tint your windows, kind of like how they have it today.
Oh,
And it's already been taken. When
Wow.
light hits the mirror, it darkens it.
yeah.
And it's like, I thought of that. I could just never do it.
Right.
And then it gets created.
It's having the
You know.
means to do it. It's hard.
Well, yeah, you get the funding. Yeah. And it's like, shoot. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing as, the first person. There's two things that people are trying to invest in. How to harvest electricity bigger than a battery, to be able to harness a lightning bolt. And supposedly Tesla did that, and his information was lost.
Well, you don't need lightning bolts.
Well, it supposedly can supply a city for 80 years or something like that.
I heard it was
Like
actually
Chicago?
extremely ineffective because it's so sporadic, hard to predict.
Well, yeah, it's really well. Look at the top of the Eiffel Tower gets struck 20 times in a lightning storm. You just need a really tall lightning bolt. I mean, look at Benjamin Franklin with
It
this
actually
guy.
doesn't happen that
I'm
often,
just
I
kidding.
think. And the Empire State Building's like 19 times a year. It's actually very low.
But you just need one of those to strike to have it last for 80 years. You just need a capacitor to hold all that energy. Yeah. The other thing is to fold your laundry for you, because we're lazy.
Like a robot.
Like, there's the dryer, there's the washer, the dryer, and then the folding machine. No one's invented the folding machine. Who wants to fold clothes?
Yeah, that is the worst part about laundry.
Yeah.
For me. Folding.
I mean, everything's all dealing with comfort. Look at the dishwasher, and there goes your paper.
No, it's already done for us. So.
Yeah. What's next? To add, really, if you add comfort, if you
I got
invent
one
something
already.
that's comfort,
Comfort. Like French onion soup. I had some nice
Oh,
French
that-
onion
yeah.
soup.
I had
Shouts
clam
out to
chowder.
Steaks Grill
Oh, mine was Knight's Steak, Steakhouse, or no, Knight's. What is it called?
and Knights.
It's Knight's. Yeah.
M. Night's Steak Grill.
Shouts
M.
out
Night
to
Shyamalan?
Knight's Steakhouse.
Yeah, Steakhouse. I think it is. Yeah. Clam chowder was awesome.
I
And
had
we're
the-
saying
I
this
had
for
the French
free.
onion soup yesterday. I was there
Yeah.
yesterday.
You were?
Yeah. 2
What time? Oh,
2
I
p.m.
went at right before closing at 11.
Yeah, no, it was
10:30.
my
Yeah.
aunt's 90th birthday yesterday.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Shouts out to my aunt.
Shoot, I should have came early. It'd be cool if I saw you.
I mean, we had like a side room or whatever. The event room.
So why'd you name your channel Joe Smith?
Joe Smith. Well, because I had a channel called the Urologist One.
What's a urologist?
Urologist
Let me
is
tell you about that.
somebody, I think, who examines your
He checks your pee-pee hole.
urethras
Oh,
and bladder and whatever.
back to that again. All right. So,
And
so Joe Smith?
I had that channel with a lot of random weird stuff on it, just like my cat eating chicken, us doing like stupid wannabe jackass stunts that were not brave at all and just really dumb. Like
I definitely said and was laughing about Orphans Without Homes yesterday to Taylor.
yeah, Orphans Without Homes was the name of the group we had started.
I was
Patrick
laughing and
Mahomes?
she's like, "What are you laughing about?" And I said, "Orphans Without Homes." And she was like, "My dad was an orphan." I was like, "It's not."
And that's when the joke ended.
I was like, "It's not
Quickly.
the same thing. Like you wouldn't get it." I was like, "Think of some of my friends jumping off roofs."
Yeah, that
And
was
she
one
was
of
like,
them.
"My dad didn't know his parents."
You jump off a
Neither
roof?
did I. That's cool.
So anyway, I had that channel. I was like, I want to start fresh. So I just deleted it, all the videos, and just Joe Smith. I also didn't really want to be tracked by Google. So I
yeah.
was like, okay, I'll make another channel, but they still, I mean,
They're
there's
gonna
no
find ya.
way you can be completely anonymous.
I mean, shoot, they make ads for you. You just,
I mean, I'm video recording me
yeah.
myself
There's no
right
safety.
now. Like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
There's no safety.
Everyone sees you.
Yeah,
Anyone can see you.
anyone.
In your house.
So that's basically where Joe Smith came. I'm probably going to change the name though,
Yeah, at this point, it's like you might as well
because I
just
do
go.
a mashup of different things. You know, I have weird edited videos. I have prank calls. I've got this.
Plus, also when I look up your channel, it takes me a Joe Smith of some guy with 20,000 subscribers. So you also have to think about like how many subscribers one person has with the same channel name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll work on that.
Yeah.
I'll work on that. But yeah. What decided you to come up with Skint Chimp?
Microsoft gave it to me, and I accepted it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Xbox Live. Skint is actually an English slang term for broken poor, and that was fact checked by my English friend Brandon. He agreed. He understood. No one else did in America, but the English did. They thought it was funny. I was like, huh, that's pretty funny. I actually am broken poor at the time. But I could afford Xbox just like an average American. Can't afford food. Well, not the case now, but I mean, you can't afford food, but you can have Xbox. So hey,
Can't
It's a good
afford
diet plan.
food, but you got a PS2 in the back of your Jimmy in 2001, busting DMX.
Shouts out to my dealer. In 2003, that was a good year.
My cousin actually had that in his Jimmy. PS2 with like the
oh okay,
biggest
Yeah, I got an
bass
AV
system
port
in town.
hookup.
it's cool.
I still have an AV port hookup. I want to hook up a fucking PS2 in the back of that motherfucker.
What's the first console you ever had?
Well, my mom told me it was a Nintendo, which I don't remember. The
Super Nintendo.
That's what all.
might have been the
Is it?
first console I remember purchasing.
hmm
Well, my foster parents purchased it for me was a GameCube.
Yeah, and I wish I grew up during that. I did grow up during that time. I just never got my first console was a PS1. So
Yeah,
What
I
was yours?
GameCube.
Oh shit! Damn.
the funny
Latched
part
my
is
arm, I was
you
like,
took
nah.
away
I'm
that
gonna be replaying that over and over.
just poop it.
It's like,
Ow.
The funny part, a few minutes ago, when you took that paper towels away, the $5 paper towels, he immediately went after your $100 couch. He went up in value.
those were not $5, and that couch was free.
The first console I remember was PlayStation.
Okay, valued at MSRP price, $100. And it could be yours now.
Shouts out to Bill Gates.
Wouldn't that be funny if people come on your podcast and just offer free stuff?
I think it'd be funny if people came on the podcast.
That'd be fucking
Yeah.
hilarious. Maybe talking about things that mattered.
We should poop this.
I should get Brandon to come over to the States.
Poop is code for editing, by the way.
No, I'm literally pooping.
Evo. Fuck that cat go. Unbelievable.
So you wanted to talk about faster horses?
Oh, yeah. So I think it was 3 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning in their RVs. I guess something happened with the engine or something. The direct of the exhaust, it went into their camper, got carbon monoxide poisoning. I think 3 passed away and two or more, I think, got severely sick. That was at
Two
Faster
are
Horses.
still in
Critical.
Yeah.
This is our news segment.
Yeah.
We need a news intro. Bum, 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 bum,
What's
bum, bum,
what's
bum.
wrong with the world today, Mama? We gotta bring the key in for support because if we talk about anything dealing with news, politics, and religion, we must have a sidekick kitty.
Sidekick Kitty.
Yeah,
Not a bad
vice
idea.
president. Yeah, we are pet friendly here. We have 3 living pets in full condition and full operation. They're actually our crew right now. They're the ones who set up the cameras. If you actually seen it, they work their paws off.
They do to
Yes.
the bone. Unpaid by the grace of their heart.
Fed by catnip and kitty food.
So yeah, what else is in the news?
Well, obviously, horses are not faster, and there are no faster horses at Faster Horses. It was completely not what I was expecting.
You got video footage going on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't show any of this.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah.
Are you trying to show a YouTube video?
Nope.
Anyways, I think Cody needs another sponsorship.
Oh yeah, Glee Gum. Try
It's-
Glee Gum.
Glee Gum. Don't be a square. Be a rectangle.
Try Glee Gum.
Yeah, like you.
Each piece is smaller than you expect, so you grab at least 3.
Here's the thing. Try looking your wife in the eyes and then looking away and then looking back.
I don't have a wife.
Anybody. It'll work.
Wait, look at you and look away.
Yeah. Whoever you're trying to like
Glee
bang
Gum.
Oh,
for
no!
50 years. See,
Don't.
you
No.
revealed yourself. That's pretty gay. Just
Well,
Try Glee Gum.
try Glee.
try Glee. Yeah. This is why you always read the terms and conditions before you check market.
Hey, shouts out to my dealer.
I think we've apexed.
Yeah, dog.
Meaning there's nowhere to go but down. Well, it is getting pretty late. This was just a cool hangout. Talking with friends. No real specific direction yet, but we're getting to that point, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Well, this has been another edition of Green Room Podcast. We want to thank Mike for watching and listening, because he's the only one.
Where's my compressor, you fuck?
Apparently, he's holding someone's compressor.
I'd like to thank everyone, and God bless.